Tonight, Americans' gas price headaches are getting worse again.
I never thought that I would be able to go visit my kids because of gas and airplane prices.
Meanwhile, gas prices keep going up. They've now hit an all-time high, and analysts say that only adds to the crushing inflation facing American families.
Cannabis. Cocaine. Buying gas.
Hold on, I think it's still more in there, bro. They trying to finesse a nigga.
You really gonna drink it, bro?
This is about to be me if the gas prices keep going up.
Some broke dude just put $1.68. $1.68 in his tank, man. He's so broke. Yeah. All right.
Welcome to today's video, everybody. I've got something pretty awesome planned for today's video, but before we get started, we need to go pick up a special guest. How you doing, mate?
Hello, hello.
How you doing? Camera to camera.
Camera to camera.
So for those of you that don't know, this is Albo. He used to run a channel called Drift Hunters, but now he runs a channel called...
It's the same channel.
Same channel.
Name changed.
Just name change. Albo Media, right?
Yep.
Albo Media. So Albo does a bunch of really cool documentary stuff here in Japan. And today's video is kind of a little bit more in-depth data and I guess a little bit more documentary, because we're going to be diving into the gas prices in Japan and why we haven't seen really much of a price increase compared to some of the rest of the world.
We've been super lucky.
Yeah, really lucky. And we got May to actually jump into a bunch of the data and all the Japanese, because we can't read like all the crazy kanji that much, but the data that we've managed to dig up is actually super interesting. I think some of you guys in the rest of the world are going to want to find out. But first thing on today's agenda is I need gas.
So you actually do need to fill up.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's go to the gas station. So we've just arrived at the gas station, and these are the prices right now that they're advertising out on the street. We've got 171 yen, so 171 yen for regular gas. High octane is 182, and diesel is 146 yen. And for those of you wondering, 171 yen is about $1.26 USD for the current exchange rate. All the math that I'm going to give you right now is based off regular unleaded, which is about 91 octane. High octane, high oku, is about 100 octane at the pump here, and then diesel is just diesel. But if we're looking at $1.26 per liter, let's look at what that is per gallon. After a little bit of quick math, 1 gallon is going to be about $4.76 of regular gas. That's not any ethanol blend or anything like that. That's just pure, unleaded, regular gas. So it's a pretty decent price. Now, I will say that today, it is a little bit more expensive than it has been in the last few weeks. This week is probably one of the most expensive days, being the weekend and all that kind of stuff. So this is about 10 yen more expensive than what it was just a couple days ago, midweek. So anyways, I'm gonna go and fill up the car. Just like every other country, you have special deals, and because I'm an ENEOS member, I get a couple yen off per liter. So the real price that we're paying today is 169 yen per liter. We're gonna hit the Mantan button, we're gonna fill her up.
Full tank.
Full tank of regular. Let's fill this girl up. All right, we're now full. Yeah, so 5,090 yen, 30 liters at 169. A little more expensive than what I'm used to paying, but not too bad. Now that we're all gassed up, we're heading to another gas station on the other side of like the ward that we're in, or the suburb. And that's just because in Japan, there's no like locking law where every kind of gas station has to stay at the same price. They're all allowed to put whatever pricing they want to be competitive, or you know, maybe they're not getting their supply for a couple weeks and they don't want to run out, so they'll up their prices. So customer base is slower, like, you know what I mean? There's no specific rule for that. So you do find that sometimes gas prices vary depending on where you are. So we're going to the complete other side of the suburb. We'll see what the pricing's like there, and then we're going to hit you guys with a bunch of interesting data And also, I'm going to tell you what the media is telling us here in Japan as to why our gas prices have risen. Now, bear in mind, our gas prices have really only risen by 10 to 20 yen on average, because before the pandemic, we were on a bad day paying about 170 yen for high octane gas to fill up my Skyline or Sylvia. And we were still maybe paying like 150 yen for regular gas. Does that sound about right to you before pandemic?
Yeah, and we were complaining a lot, even though we don't even have very long commutes in the first place.
Exactly. So yeah, the pricing's really only gone up by like 10 to 20 yen. Bad day, maybe 30 yen, which is crazy to think about. So we just got to the other gas station on the other side of the suburb, and this place is 5 yen cheaper for regular gas. Just up the road is another Enios. Let's see if that's any cheaper or the same. Just made it down the road, about 150 meters, and this gas station is actually pretty much the same price. Diesel is a little bit more expensive here compared to the other one. I think the other place was 139, this is 142, and that could simply just be these guys may be running out, and you know, they're just trying to make sure that they have enough till the next top up, or some other thing. Maybe they bought it more expensive, I don't know. But this pricing here for regular gas of 163, 174, and 139, that's the pricing with the membership card that I have. So this would still be a lot cheaper. I would have paid 163 yen per liter, not 169 if I'd just driven here first. As you guys know, recently I went to Australia, and while I was there, I filled up my parents' cards for them because I was using it, right? And the pricing over there was ridiculous. I think diesel was close to $3 a liter, and regular gas was $2.20 a liter, which is crazy considering over here, and the Australian dollar is almost equal to 100 yen. This is cheap. This is like $1.60 for Australian dollars. So like it's kind of crazy when you think about it. It just got me wondering, like, why is it so much cheaper in Japan? Japan doesn't have oil reserves or mining or all that kind of stuff here, right? They don't have any crude oil source. So they're buying it all overseas. And when we get into all the data and the itty-gritty bits of it later in the video, you really have a nice picture of where all the oil and stuff in Japan is being bought from, all the countries and stuff. And believe it or not, it's not actually Russia. Japan isn't getting anything from Russia since the Ukraine war like everyone else. But our pricing is still really pretty much stayed the same. So we're currently passing another gas station, and this one, it's probably about 2 kilometers from the last two we just checked out, and this one's a lot more expensive. But this is also not a self-service one. This is the one where these guys fill up your tank and everything for you, and the Bowser kind of drops from the roof. Regular, 173 yen per liter. High octane 184 and diesel 153, so it's definitely a lot more expensive. Now bear in mind, you will get like 5 yen off if you're, well no, about 5% off if you've got the Enios membership card. But yeah, still, this place is probably the most expensive one we've seen today.
5% is a lot.
Yeah,
it's like 10 yen off.
Depends on the level of the membership. There's like 3 levels. There's like bronze, silver, and gold pretty much. But gold is like, I think, the highest one you get.
Yeah, the S card.
We've just arrived at Up Garage. Always fun coming here. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. Sometimes you find a good deal, or you know, you find the stuff that you need, but most times you don't. But the one time that you do, it makes it all worth it. Oh, apparently they're selling push bikes now. So before we get into the data and the explanation of what the Japanese government's given us, what I thought would be really cool is I'm going to do an Instagram live stream, and I'm going to quickly ask some of you guys in the States really quickly how much gas is going for per gallon and stuff in your area, as well as other people that tune in. I think it'd be cool to just get a general consensus of what everyone's kind of seeing globally. We've just gone live on Instagram, so we've got some people already in here. We got about 350 people right now. So everyone, I want you to tell me in the chat real quickly, where are you watching from and what's the price of regular unleaded gas? All right, so in Australia, someone's paying $2.36 a liter. Hawaii, USA, 92 octane is $6.7 per gallon. Wow, that's rough. Remember guys, we were paying $4 and something per gallon here. We've got people in Australia. Queensland is paying $2.03 per liter. Colorado is $4.71 per gallon. Ooh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, but that's 85 octane. Oh, I think our unleaded is 91.
89 or something? Is it?
89 to 91, I think it is here. Another one from Australia, $2 a liter. This person, this guy's flexing on us 10 cents per liter in Iran. That's not fair. I'm salty about that. Netherlands, they're paying, is that a pound? $2?
Euro.
275 euro per liter.
That's a lot. That's probably the highest.
Wow.
That's probably like 350 yen per.
This is interesting. Okinawa base is $5.60 per gallon. That's interesting.
So quite high. It's like American prices. Yeah. Because they have like their American supply. Before the American, like on the base, it used to be a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper, yeah. So here's an interesting one. New Zealand is paying $3.11 per liter. That's rough. San Francisco, California, $10.23 per gallon.
No.
What?
Okay, yeah, so twice the price, more than twice the price. Why is it
so expensive? This person's paying $8.59 per gallon, $4.04 Texas, USA per gallon, $8 a gallon in California.
It's all over the place.
$2.05 in Canada.
I'm more surprised that it's all over the place instead of just being like high across the board, all across the states.
$16 in the Caribbean per gallon. That's
It sucks.
Yeah, Ohio is $4.50 to $4.60. So it's interesting. Some states are better than others, like a lot better than others. So as you can see, everyone's in the chat right now, just like letting us know where they're from and what their price is. This guy's in Arizona, $5.69 per gallon.
So maybe you can tell me, like, before you reveal the data. But I was thinking maybe there's like government subsidies or some sort of
I think
support.
Some governments are doing more than others, and we'll get into that in a bit, what they're doing here in Japan. But yeah, Netherlands is €2.30 a liter. Yikes. All right, guys, thank you so much for all your help. Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. So that was a pretty cool comparison. I love that we were able to just like right then live, just get a whole bunch of information from everyone else in the world. And it's crazy to see that it's not just like a certain like expensive price across the board in the USA. I'm trying to like focus more on the USA right now. But like to see it going up and down like that is just insane.
I think a lot of our audience, a lot of the folks are mostly based on the West Coast. And the trend we've been seeing is the West Coast prices are really, really high. But across the United States, across the rest of the world, it's a lot of places, the price is kind of similar to Japan actually. So there might be kind of like regional subsidies
and stuff
things
like that. Yeah. I don't think we saw anything around like the $4 something mark that is what it is in here in Japan. I think the closest we saw was like $5 and something, right? So it's still a lot more expensive. So right now, Japan's only importing their oil supplies from Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, and Iran. Right, so we're not getting it from Russia, which is what a lot of people are saying. That's where the cheap gas is right now. That's just not the case.
All from the Middle East.
Yeah. Now, recently, this is like a breakdown of where most of the oil supply is coming from. 124% increase. So this is like a percentage of how much they've increased and replaced other suppliers. So that would be like previously they were buying from Russia, but now they're not. So the supply has been increased 124% from the UAE, Saudi Arabia 105%, Qatar 69%, so Kuwait 102%.
Basically doubled.
Exactly, and Ecuador 856%.
I didn't know Ecuador had so much oil.
Me either. So this is really, really interesting. This is all released on the Japanese government's website, and we had May break it all down for us. And we're going to be putting some screenshots on the screen for you guys to correlate to.
May's a real MVP.
She really is. She like crunched this out, and she's got a cold right now too, so she's in bed. But what's really interesting is the Japanese government's explanation of why the gas prices went up. Is that the world demand exponentially increased coming back from COVID, right? So ever since, countries and everyone's all starting to recover from COVID, they're all jumping in their cars, driving to work again, they're not working from home. So think about everyone's all of a sudden, during COVID, the demand for gas kind of dropped because everyone was staying home. Lockdowns, all that kind of stuff. Now we're out of COVID and everyone's trying to drive around, go to work and all that kind of stuff. So all of a sudden people need gas again, right? So the demand went down and then the demand's come up and skyrocketed up globally, right? Because everyone's kind of coming back from COVID around the same time.
So basic economics, right? Like supply was less than the demand, or the demand exceeded the supply.
Exactly. And then you also need to take into account some countries stopped making gas, right? Such as Kazakhstan, Nigeria, and you stopped buying gas from certain places, right? And this kind of touches on the war in Ukraine and Russia and that kind of situation, right? So not only is the demand increasing, but where we're getting the supply from has kind of narrowed down a fair bit, right?
And I guess because some places are no longer providers,
exactly,
the other places can demand
Exactly.
higher rates.
Which is why we're seeing an 856% buy increase from Ecuador of all
Ecuador
places.
is just balling hard right now.
Yeah, I guess those guys are making bank. So now we get to touch on subsidies. Now, before we jump into that though, like it's kind of crazy to think about how on earth has Japan been able to keep the prices where they're at and they don't do any, mining or anything here. Like they're not pulling oil out of the ground here. It's kind of crazy to think about, right? Now, this is where the Japanese government has done a really good job at this, and they've got this really awesome subsidy happening, right? The government has started offering this subsidy to oil wholesalers in late January to help average the price of regular gasoline. They're trying to hold it at 170 yen. So
about what it is right now.
That's exactly what we saw today, right? I think we saw 171. Some places we saw it a little bit higher in those service stations where they are filling up your car for you and stuff.
Right.
But you're paying for that extra service, right? That's always been there. But the Japanese government is trying to hold it at that point. So they're kind of filling in the gap there, right? So if it's over that, they're doing a really good job at filling that in. Now, the money that they're using to pay for that subsidy is actually coming from the money that they put together in a budget to help the economy come back after the effects of COVID.
Okay, so they're taking the tax dollars, or tax yens, and they are making kind of like a package specifically to keep gas prices from going too crazy, because I suppose it'll have like far-reaching cascades.
Exactly.
If the price of gas is too high, people make all sorts of decisions based on the fact that if gas is too expensive, it'll have a cascading negative effect on the economy. So
And
really good idea.
What's really good is I love that the Japanese government has really identified that the reason why gas prices have skyrocketed is purely because of the pandemic. So this pandemic kind of relief fund is what's funding the subsidy for the fueling, right, and keeping that cheap for us.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, right? You don't really see that happening in the USA. The government's not really doing anything there, or they may be doing something, but they're not able to control it as much as that. And remember, Japan doesn't have a rule that the gas stations have to have a fixed price and they all have to be the same, right? They're allowed to do whatever they want. So at the end of the day, if the Japanese government's saying, hey, from the fuel wholesaler, right, the guys that they're buying everything from,
right,
if they're buying it at 170 yen, right, that's where they're trying to keep it, the government, what's stopping the local shops from going, oh, I'm going to sell this for $2, $3 a litre?
And you do see that. You see that when the gas stations like near the toge or like places that are really, really far
across the road from Ebisu Circuit, for example, it's like 20, 30 cents more there because you're paying a premium because you're filling up at the track, right?
Yeah. And I actually always wondered how they can justify such a big increase. It makes sense, as you told me today, that it is totally up to them.
It's totally up to them. They can do that, yeah. And just like the gas is literally this. It's the Enios gas that comes from the gas station across the road. The stuff that's sold inside the track too. So normally those guys just keep roughly the same price because you could fill up inside the track, or you could go directly across the road from outside the track, and it's pretty much almost the same price unless you're putting regular in your car, which I would not recommend if you're tracking your car to do that. Now, what's kind of interesting is the Japanese media has actually covered why American pricing for gas isn't going to come down anytime soon and why it's kind of where it's at.
So this is kind of our second-hand reporting of the Japanese media's analysis.
Which is always very interesting to get an outside perspective look. Now, obviously, I don't know how true this is, and we'll post screenshots and stuff like that, but they are saying that it's not actually the cost price of the crude oil itself, which I think this kind of proves it, right? Right? The fact that pricing's where it's at here in Japan, even if you take the subsidy out, the wholesale price that these gas stations are buying the gas at isn't going above 170 yen. And what we saw today, right? Think about it. If they're buying the price, and let's say it's at the max 170 yen, right? At the wholesale level. For them to make money and sell it at the Bowser, right? They wouldn't be selling it at 171 yen. They wouldn't be making one yen a liter, right? So that means their wholesale price is actually still under the government's, what do you call it? The little like limit that they've set. So the moment the wholesale price goes over 170 yen, that's when the government pitches in and keeps it there, right?
Yeah, that was my understanding of it.
Yeah. So right now it's not even at that level yet.
Yeah. So it's like I think I read somewhere before, if the price hits over a certain threshold for 3 months straight, then basically it'll trigger some sort of clause to automatically enforce this subsidy to bring that price down and hold it at that price point.
Yeah. So what the Japanese media has been saying is that the actual cost of crude oil in the gas market for the USA is actually a lot cheaper than what they're letting on, right? They're saying that major oil companies own 1% of US gas stations and have a direct control over retail prices. Now, this doesn't exist in Japan, right? So this is kind of where things get a little, interesting. Now, gas stations are trying to recoup their initial losses from the delay in raising gasoline prices, right? So there was a little bit of a delay there where they were buying it for more than what they were selling.
I see.
And then they're now hesitant to lower prices because of concerns that oil prices will rise again.
Okay.
So you know how it's like a cascading effect, right? Yeah. And then consumers are most likely trying to look for the cheaper gas stations when gasoline prices soar and when they fall. And it's, like I said, that cascading effect. Now, warmer weather tends to increase the demand, which drives up retail prices.
People want to go to the beach.
Yeah. So at the end of the day,
go camping.
At the end of the day, unfortunately, the US does have to deal with a bunch of bureaucracy in that aspect. And it does seem that the major US oil companies, because they have that ownership and control the pricing of the retail sale value, that's why you guys are seeing such high values, and they want to make sure that they're making still their cut.
And it's quite interesting. I suppose, the different oil corporations have different levels of influence in different areas. So that's why certain areas are much, much more expensive than other areas. Some places are dramatically more expensive, like San Francisco.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, someone was saying they paid like $15 a gallon. That was insane. So what Japan's future plans are as well is quite interesting, is that they're planning to try to enact a tax cut for the consumer, for the customer, right? So, at the end of the year when you do your tax, what do they call that? A tax refund?
When you're doing your taxes. And
Yeah. You guys know, you do it every year, right? They're planning that anything over 160 yen, you'd be getting like a tax cut for, right? So it would be tax-free for anything over that amount that you're paying.
Right.
Now, that's what they are trying to enroll, and they're trying to enact it, but they obviously, they got to do a few amendments, and it's got to pass through like courts and stuff like that. But previously, they were looking at doing this kind of tax cut before, but they kind of just put a halt to any talks about that on gasoline tax cuts since that 2011 earthquake, so they could recoup as much tax and money as they could to help with all the reconstruction and everything that was damaged from the 2011 earthquake. Right. Now everything's back on the table again, so they're trying to talk about bringing that back in.
I got one question for you, Sam. So I think one of the reasons a lot of people think that the price of gas is super high in the States is because of a push towards the electrification of the industry. What do you think about that?
I disagree with that 100%. It makes no sense. Think about it logically. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, hey, we'll make gas more expensive so people buy more electric vehicles. But
that's the thinking.
In the long run, there's still the infrastructure still isn't really there. I think in Japan, there's a very interesting study about this actually, that if even, I think it was like 2% of the current population of cars, right, if people change those to electric vehicles, the entire electric infrastructure would crash and burn. Like
overloaded.
Would be completely overloaded.
Imagining trying to plug a million different devices into one power outlet.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people need to take into account is the infrastructure. I really don't believe is there for that yet. So if everyone all of a sudden was like, oh, gas prices are too expensive, they get rid of their gas car and they switch to a Tesla or an electric car, and all of a sudden, like 1% of the population of the USA all of a sudden does that, goes home and plugs in their car at night, that's a huge increase.
Well, like to play devil's advocate, I mean, possibly it's not as if everyone will switch to electric.
That's right.
Right away.
Yeah.
It's more like it'll take a while, but it will accelerate the proliferation of electric cars.
Yeah, it's like it's making a new idea in people's minds. Oh, maybe I should switch to electric, right? But I'd be interested to know if the oil companies in America also own a share in most of the power plants in the USA.
Well, let me put on my conspiracy hat. Oh, here, it's already on.
Because most of them are still run by coal, right? I think there's a lot of nuclear stuff, but I mean, I guarantee you a lot of those people have their thumb in those pies too, like those companies and corporations do.
I mean, it's coming, right? It's the future. There's no getting away from it. So if you have...
I still disagree. I don't think battery and electric cars are the way of the future. I think the combustion engine still has a long way to go. I think it's more of a fuel supplement. And once everyone kind of jumps on the table, then, I don't think electric cars are the way of the future yet, because still there's that infrastructure and electricity production issue.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is quite interesting how Japan is making this is from my final point. It's quite interesting how we see like a very strong effort within Japan to keep those prices at a reasonable level. Yeah. But at the same time, within the next 10 years, they are
putting
those plans in to completely switch over production just to electric vehicles. So after 2030, there aren't going to be any more gasoline-powered vehicles for sale from Japanese manufacturers. Or so they're
trying to. I mean, Toyota got up the front of the like their board, you know, their yearly review, and they like openly said, yeah, no, we're not going to focus on that. So there's a bit of diversion there. Like to think that would come from Toyota because they did the Prius and everything.
Right.
Yeah, they really believe that that's not the way the future to a solely electric car. So it's interesting, and I think we're in a very interesting time. It's clear we see things at a different level there. I don't know if you want electric cars or not, but I definitely don't.
I mean, I definitely love the feeling of shifting, you know, my manual cars. I hope, you know, like that's gone. That's the first thing to go in an electric future.
Yeah.
So the next thing to go is probably driving your own car. It's just going to drive itself for you.
Oh, that would suck. But that would also take a lot of terrible drivers off the road. I'm looking at you, Karen.
All the Karens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have a license. Sorry if your mom's name's Karen. It's true.
Sorry, Karens.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that kind of sums it all up. This has been a new video for me. I don't think we've ever done anything like this before on my channel.
These are fun.
These are fun.
Kind of think about a serious topic and try to deconstruct it. I mean, we're not professional economists or anything.
Exactly, no.
Half of this is probably BS, but we are doing our best with our limited ability to do it.
Like we've literally spent a bunch of time. May went through a whole bunch of press releases and stuff from the Japanese government, and she got really into it. She spent like 4 hours on this, guys. So
yeah,
she like did a whole report for us. It was great.
She's the real pro. We're just
she's the pro. I'm just telling you what I think. But it's interesting though, isn't it? That the whole, you know, demand and all that kind of stuff and how it affects the pricing of things. And we saw that with Japanese cars, right? There was a huge demand in the middle of the pandemic, which I think was mainly because everyone was sitting at home and they had money and they didn't know what to do with it.
All those crypto earnings.
Yeah, that as well. The crypto markets crashed. We're now seeing that everyone's coming out of COVID. They actually want to buy houses. They want to get back to their normal lives, and they need to get their money back. So they're selling their cars. And dude, auction prices right now, like we haven't seen these prices in years now, like since the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like 34 Skylines have gone down so much in price. S15 Sylvia's back in, like a Spec S is like 18 grand now. It's good, but you're not seeing that at the dealership level yet.
You see me in the background, like, yeah.
Yes,
right,
yes, we can buy our cars again.
Like behind the tree, right?
Yeah.
The meme behind the tree.
Yeah, it's so true. But no, like it's interesting because the demand's gone down now for those cars. Now, definitely there's enthusiasts that are going to want those cars, but I think they already have them. They're just in storage. Let's be honest. If you really wanted one of these cars, you bought it when it was still cheap, and you're storing it at one of these dealers. Like,
unless you got rich during the big,
that's true. Yeah,
unless boom.
Yeah, unless you got filthy rich on Bitcoin or something, or Dogecoin. I have to admit, I made a fair bit of that. That was great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting, saw everything from our perspective here in Japan, looking in, outside in. And if you like this kind of content, let me know. If you have any other topics you want to see us cover, let us know. And yeah, thank you, Albo, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. And maybe let us know if you would like this to be in a podcast format where we can just deconstruct it in a long form. I love talking about this kind of stuff, and I think this kind of topic lends itself to really sitting down and talking it out over an hour or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. We could definitely do something like that. I've been thinking about starting a podcast for a while, but I don't want to start something until I have a bunch of things planned and episodes already lined up and ready to go. And we also need the space for that. So, you know, I'm still looking for a new shop, and hopefully things pan out there. But
I have a feeling it's going to work out.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Guys, anyways, thanks for watching. Smash that like button, write a comment, and subscribe. And yeah, once again, I am curious to know your thoughts on this whole situation. Let us know down in the comment section, and we will see you all in the next video. Peace out. Jamata.
Tonight, Americans' gas price headaches are getting worse again.
I never thought that I wouldn't be able to go visit my kids because of gas and airplane prices.
Meanwhile, gas prices keep going up. They've now hit an all-time high, and analysts say that only adds to the crushing inflation facing American families.
Cannabis, cocaine, buying gas.